Hello everyone, today I'll be ranking every LEGO Star Wars set released in 2002. This was actually quite a good year for LEGO Star Wars. Just about every set this year had some good things about it, so it actually made this list kinda hard to make. Now with that said, let's go ahead and get right into this. At the bottom in number 19 is the Technic R2-D2. The astromech shape is good and it's filled out decently, besides the head. It's not bad though, and definitely way better than some of the other Technic sets, but it's still not great. I will say his third leg being included is nice though, because LEGO doesn't always include his third leg in these displayable models. It's not the worst set ever, but it's kinda small and it's the worst one from 2002. Next is the B2 Battle Droid. The B2 makes for an interesting Technic build that I can't really decide if it looks good or bad. I'm really on the fence here. It's not bad, but it's definitely not winning any contests. All in all, not bad, it's just most of these Technic sets leave a lot to be desired. Continuing with the theme of Technic sets, number 17 is Jango Fett. Compared to normal brick built sets, it might not be good looking, but I do think they did a good job here. Trying to capture a human in Technic is definitely a challenge, and while it doesn't look good enough to have it a higher placed on this list, I think they did a great job and it warrants itself maybe one of the best Technic sets they made. Number 16 is the Twin Pod Cloud Car. Now I want to start by saying there's nothing wrong with this set, but when you compare it to others ahead of it, it just lacks any desirable factors. The build is fantastic and extremely accurate, but a cloud car isn't exactly a bestseller. The figure is nice as well, so while all the components are good, it's just not a set that's very interesting, especially compared to the others out at that time. Number 15 is the Final Duel 2. This set is kind of more of a minifigure pack than an actual set in all honesty. The build is just part of a hallway, and it's fairly lame at that. It's okay though because the figs are more important in this set. You get Luke, a stormtrooper, and an Imperial officer. Not a bad lineup and a good pairing with the other Final Duel set. Next at 14 is the Jedi Defense 2. This small set came with a security droid, a droid commander, and Qui-Gon Jinn. An okay group here. The security droid specifically though is pretty neat. We almost never see those guys. The build on the other hand is extremely lame. It's just the door that Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan try to cut open, and it just looks bad, and I don't think it was a very good choice for a build in this set. There weren't too many other options, so I get why they went with it, but it just feels very weak as the standalone build from this set. Next in the 13th spot is the Tusken Raider Encounter. A maroon speeder is the only build here, and it looks good. I'll never complain about a cool speeder like this one. Besides that though, you get two Tusken Raiders and Anakin, all of which have good details and are a great inclusion. For such a small set, they did a great job, and it's such a good depiction of that scene. Number 12 is the Jedi Defense 1. Unlike the second one, this set has quality builds that are self-standing. The droidicas look really good and might be one of LEGO's best ever. It's weird to say, but LEGO's droidicas over the years have just seemed to get worse and worse. Obi-Wan is the only minifigure here, but he looks really good too, and this is just a great pairing. It's a great set, and on its own it's very fun for only $7. Number 11 is the Jedi Duel. This set in particular makes me miss these smaller sets. You have Dooku's speeder and this mechanical arm thing for the builds, and then the minifigures are Yoda and Dooku. It's not too much, but you get a lot of play value here in this small set. The speeder is cool and pairs well with the gunship. Then of course Dooku and Yoda are some top tier characters that are always desirable. What makes this set so great is the pairing of figures and the build. That's such a nice little package and connects with one of the other sets that's out at the same time. I'd love to see this concept revisited in current LEGO Star Wars. Next at 10 is the Final Duel 1. Like the last set, we have some killer minifigures here. Darth Vader and Palpatine in one cheap package is awesome. The build is just the Emperor's chair, but it'll serve as a nice backdrop to Luke and Vader's final duel. I love the detail in current LEGO Star Wars, but old sets like this that just give you a small piece of the scene and let you use your imagination, I feel like it just really works well. Overall, a great small set. Next at 9 is the Ewok Attack. This set offers a nice supersized indoor battle pack. In it you get a speeder along with a catapult and glider. Very fun and cool to see in such an inexpensive set. Same can be said for the figures. You get a stormtrooper, scout trooper, and two Ewoks. The Imperial troopers look as good as you'd expect, but the Ewoks just have a beautiful mold. There's no prints on them, so they're a little bare, but the mold is very detailed and accurate. Besides that, it's a set that offers plenty and is quite desirable. 8th is Darth Vader. This is one of the few Technic sets that they absolutely nailed. No unnecessary colors, not a lot of gaps, and it looks great. Plus, it looks menacing, which is exactly how Darth Vader should look. I think what made this set so much fun and better than the others is the use of specialized pieces. Darth Vader's helmet and cape, for example, are big pieces created for this set and are a big reason as to why it looks so good and is so much better than the others. Making those distinguishing features there, present, and perfect is really, I think, what sails the set to the top of the Technic list and what all the other Technic sets should have done. Next, at 7 is the Bounty Hunter Pursuit. This set colors are just great and very fun to look at. It is super eye-catching. They're not just pretty to look at though. Beyond the colors though, the builds are great too. They look extremely similar to the actual speeders, which is surprising given all the curves they have. The figures are just as good too. Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Sam Wessel are all included and look really good. The price is a bit steep at $30, but it's not the worst one we've seen. Next at 6 is the buildable Yoda. This Yoda is an absolutely great looking set. I love the classic brick built style. All the new fancy pieces they use now in LEGO are great, but there's something about this classic character built with just normal bricks that is awesome. I love this style and it still works incredibly well. I would almost argue that this one looks better than the most recent buildable Yoda. I think the designers can get caught up on all these little details with these little pieces, and that can somewhat impact the overall build, whereas these classic bricks were a lot easier to work with and you knew what you were going for. So overall, it's a really great display set of a fan favorite character. Next, at number 5 is the Jedi Starfighter. This is a sleek looking starfighter, a very solid build. The only complaints I guess would be a lack of a slope on top of the ship. Typically these ships have a bit of a bump in the middle, and that's just not seen here. There's a small attempt, but it's largely unnoticeable. Other than that, I have no complaints on how this build looks. The lone minifigure is Obi-Wan, which makes sense, although it is a little disappointing. All around though, it's a solid starfighter that really laid the groundwork for all future Jedi starfighters. Next at 4 is the Slave One. This is an absolutely great pairing to have on the shelves with Obi-Wan Starfighter, and I think that's definitely why they did it. And it helps that both these sets are really great. This version of the Slave One is miles better than the original. We see many more modern techniques in this set than the previous, giving it all those curves and angles that it needs. Plus, it's about double the size, which is always better, and that's what kind of allowed them to make those angles and build just look a little bit better. That combined with a more clean-cut color system makes the whole build just feel top-notch. Jango and Boba are the minifigures you get, and they are both good. And believe it or not, this is somehow the only time we've seen Jango's iteration of the ship in LEGO, but at least we can say they did a really good job with it. Third is taken by the UCS Naboo Starfighter. This set's surprisingly small for a UCS set, but that's not totally bad. I love that it's not crazy over the top, overscaled, but I will admit this one is a little tad too small. Not a big complaint, but it's something to mention. In reality though, it's a fantastic set, and that's the only nitpick I can even come up with. The build has a good design, but what really draws you in are the chrome pieces. The front being a nice silver like it's supposed to be really draws me in, and it just makes this set. Normally LEGO just uses gray bricks, but with this silver chrome, it's just so much more accurate and looks leagues better. Unfortunately, there is no minifigure to mention, but it's pretty normal for the time, and there's no cockpit anyway, so this guy wouldn't be able to fit in his own ship. That, I guess, could also be considered a negative, but like I said, it's fitting for the time. Plus, I think it's very easy to overlook that when the build is this great. Our runner-up for the list is the Republic gunship. With the release of the Attack of the Clones, we saw our first Republic gunship. So many good things can be said about this set. First off, the build looks great. The ship has an amazing design and transferred to LEGO perfectly. Structurally, the front can be a little weak though, as it does open up to become a command post. It's a neat play feature even if it's not accurate, but the decrease in build stability is a downside to it. Beyond that though, they did a fantastic job with the set, and it really laid the groundwork for all the future iterations to come. Accompanying this gunship is a legendary lineup of figures. First off, you get Jedi Bob, which I don't even think I need to explain how classic and iconic that figure is to our community. Beside him are 4 clone troopers. I really want to put an emphasis on them too because it's way better and more accurate than any other lineup we normally see. You know, you're getting a troop transport here. I want a lot of clones for this transport. Opposing our Republic troops, though, are 2 Super Battle Droids and 1 Droideka. All of these droids are a bit more rare to see in a set, so it's really neat to get them all here. This set's figures are extraordinary, especially compared to its future remakes. This combined with an overall good build leads to a top tier set. Finally, we did make it to this top spot on the list. Real quick before I reveal mine, I want y'all to go to the comments and tell me what your favorite set from this year was. I always love to hear what you guys have to say. And with that said, the number 1 spot is taken by the UCS ISD. This Star Destroyer is absolutely exquisite. This one looks exactly like the movie version. I can't even pinpoint exactly what they did here, but the designer just did a phenomenal job of replicating the model from the movie. The way the studs and elevations work together is just like magic. This set easily stands the test of time, and it even rivals and may even surpass the most recent UCS Star Destroyer. It's really hard to put into words, but when I look at this set, it just feels like Star Wars. The only semi-negative thing I could say about this set is there's no minifigures, but that's not a big issue, and like I've said before, in older UCS sets, minifigures were never included. This set is huge though, and it was still quite the build at its time when LEGO Star Wars was just finding its footing. This is definitely one of LEGO's more ambitious UCS sets when they were just starting out. Luckily for them, they hit a home run with it, and I knew it had to be this top spot on this list. Alright, and with that said, that wraps up my list. I want to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to put your list down in the comments. Let me know your favorite sets from this year, all that stuff. Like and subscribe for more content. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.